really special that I've been promising to show you. Always go now, because I'll be here for a short while.
Don't you trust me?
I trust you, Lily. Nothing is more magical. As long as they roam the earth, evil can never harm the pure of heart.
Darkness has sent the goblins back to the mayor. It's not safe to stay here. You'll have to hurry. Leave now.
Must find what's happened to my Lily.
A great tree. When evil anarchy ruled the land, the wicked came here to sacrifice.
Legend. Watch it. Thanks.
It's a great movie. Peace.
No, I'm recording right now to
Oh,
check
okay,
it.
okay, gotcha.
He's doing a test right this moment.
Ooh.
Yes.
It's like we're super meta.
He's doing
Test,
diagnostics. I will say that my spot of tea with Michael Caine last night was very good.
Ooh.
Yes, if you were on the marketing meeting, you know that I said I'm out because I'm going to go have a spot of tea with Michael Caine.
I heard it. It was like ding, 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 ding. I was like, what is that sound? You having coffee?
We are recording, by the way.
Oh, okay, cool.
Good. All right, then. Let's record stuff.
Okay.
I mean, like, should we record a podcast?
Yeah. 10 seconds.
Harambe the movie.
Starring Andy Serkis.
Who would have thought that actually would
As
have caught
Harambe.
on? Like, I'm pretty sure every single recording we've mentioned him.
Have to. You don't forget the living or the dead legend now.
I do remember there was a time when I thought Brock was swaying away from the Harambe, but he came back full circle.
Good.
Back to the fold.
Good.
Thank you.
You need to stay.
Yes. The Book of Harambe, Deuteronomy. Section 4.
16:4.
Harambe said, give me meat.
And then they gave him a child, and he said, not that meat.
Yes.
And then they shot him anyways.
Yeah.
And they still shot him.
We're going to tranquilize him with real bullets.
That'll stop him.
That'll
stop him dead.
him.
All right, let's get this podcast started.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. We're always welcoming here at the Drop Culture Podcast.
Welcome in.
Welcome in. Hey, would you like a refill? You know, this is a refill of that drop culture that you thought you might have missed. We shine it up real nice and cram it in your ear holes.
That's right.
This week's movie, though, is a...
It's a legend.
It is. It is a legendary movie as
Yes.
well.
It's a legend of its own.
Starring some really legendary actors.
Yes.
You know, I think there's a lot of people in this that you would consider screen legends. You know?
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah.
There's one specifically that you cannot deny.
What you'll need, too, is an actual legend
What's
to
it,
navigate through this episode. What other things can I say with legend in it? Because the movie we are talking about is 1985's Legend, starring Tom Cruise, Tim Curry, Mia Sara, yes.
And other people.
$5 if you know Mia Sara's real last name. Mm-mm. Yeah, I can't pronounce it. It's like Sarah Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Is she Greek?
Sure. I don't know. What am I?
Born in Greece.
What do I look
now.
like? Does it look like Heredity.com over here? Do I look like me in 23 or whatever, 23andme.com? I don't think so, buddy. I don't know what she is.
I want to know the rival company that actually came out with that. Me and 23. Better than 23 and me. Because we take you first.
That's right.
We kind of throw, English out the window.
Oh, I see what her last name. Mia Sara
Jessica Parker.
Pocciello.
Sure.
Nah, that
Whatever.
can make sure. Well,
Anyways, yes, Sloane from Ferris Bueller's Day
yes,
Off.
which this was her first movie.
Yes.
Okay, let's just get into this movie real quick. As far as not like plot points, let's just kind of get through everybody that's in it. It was directed by the legendary Ridley Scott.
Yes.
Which Ridley Scott had already turned the cinema ear or head on its side. You know,
What kind of
whatever.
words are you saying over there?
Nothing. You know,
It got flipped on its head.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
was what you're looking
it's really smart on its head feet. You know what I mean?
I love this.
at. Yeah, this is great.
I'm going to use these.
And he Blade Runner, Alien, and from what I had,
And this was right after Blade Runner,
yeah.
right?
Well, Blade Runner was 1980.
Okay.
And then this
Okay.
was 85. Ridley Scott, legendary director of those movies, had done something so entirely different with both of them. You know, Alien in space. You know, a horror movie in space involving an alien. You know, it's kind of different there, even though there was more of those, you know, out there at the time that came out. But he did it right. You know, he had
I was going to say,
strong.
because that generic kind of thing, a bunch of people tried.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
the
yeah.
first one to nail it.
Yeah, that one, it created everything that we see nowadays. And when it comes to that genre, then he also did Blade Runner. Come on. I mean, the dude was on fire, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing about this movie, what I have read and heard, he wanted to do this one first, but nobody wanted to tackle it. Because it was a modern day fairy tale. You know, this was an invented Grimm's fairy tale almost. They took elements of all different kinds of, you know, stories and things like that. They had a champion, they had the evil, they had all that stuff wrapped up into one. It was like Peter Pan / you know.
I think this still may have been his movie after Blade Runner. Blade Runner came out in 82, but
82, okay.
he had been working on Dune, which he didn't finish.
No, he stopped working on Dune,
And he had
yeah.
another product, Tristan and Isolde?
Yeah.
Isolde, whatever the hell that
Salty,
is.
yeah.
So I think he was trying to do all of that, right?
But then he got the opportunity to do this one.
Which is something he always wanted to do. But he actually reached out to a different writer to do it. Somebody who had already been writing screenplays like that. I can pull up that guy's name here in just a second. But I thought that was pretty cool. He thought it would be better to write a new story that's adapted to cinema rather than taking something and bending it to cinema. That was like what Ridley Scott said, which I thought was super cool.
The look of this movie is the most important part of the movie. You know, their practical effects, the design, the set design, which is all done on the 007 stage in England, and completely built from the ground up with everything, and it really immerses you in the locales that they had. Even though there wasn't that many and they could really adapt everything, it was it was wide, but it was almost kind of claustrophobic, if you kind of understand what I'm saying, the way that they had the roots and everything like that. But it really did give you a feeling of the earth.
Or that you're in that forest, because a forest, it's not like where it's wide open spaces, but you can tell it's a big set.
Yeah.
With a lot of things in it.
Do you know where that set was?
No, a 007 stage in London.
Yeah, Pinewood Studios.
Yeah.
But that's not where they got the. That's not where if I missed that, I'm sorry. But that's not where they got the inspiration. Was actually from Yosemite. He went and toured that, but it was going to be too expensive to film there.
That makes sense, though.
Well,
I was wanting to. I just wanted to shout out that dude's name. That's why I was not listening to you people.
No. Yeah.
It was William Hjortsberg.
Oh, okay.
He's an American novelist.
It sounds like something like Goofy would say, Yorksburg?
Yorksburg. Come on, guys, let's go to Yorksburg. Okay, sorry.
Okay, Minnesotans.
This movie was also supposed to be like a launching pad for a young Tom Cruise,
Who was 22 years old.
22.
Was this his first big thing?
This was his first movie, wasn't it?
One of them. It wasn't the first one because what was the one where he's a kid? Was it The Outsiders?
Like his first adult role.
Yeah. No, first starring role is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And because that was an ensemble movie. And I could be wrong, but I'm almost 100% that this was his first starring role.
And he, Tom Cruise is such a, dramatically huge actor. You know what I mean? Even back then, this was before Risky Business.
Right.
And no, he did Risky Business Like right before this. Shit.
I'll fact check you. Keep going.
Fact check me. But then this was before Top Gun.
Yes.
So Top Gun comes out, and Tom Cruise is an international badass mofo, you know. And Mia Sara, this was her first movie, which for somebody to go into something like this was more of a visual movie than anything else. 100%. Whatever lacks in story and dialogue and everything with it, the visuals are what get you.
Risky Business was 83.
83.
So you're right.
Yeah. What's funny to me about this whole movie is where does all the fucking glitter come from? Because everybody's covered in glitter. It's like a stripper movie. You know?
Well, they're actually vampires.
I guess. It's weird. Like there's glitter fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Like everything is shimmering and shining. It's cool because the cinematographer really did, Alex Thompson, really did a great job with the way that those
Didn't he get nominated for an Oscar for his filmography? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, this movie had that broad scope, but it was so dark. You know, it starts off this beautiful, really green and everything, and then it goes fucking black and white. You know, I mean, it's just the death.
Well, then you get Dave Grohl.
Yeah, Dave Grohl was awesome. No, the principal characters and the other legendary person I would really say is Billy Barty. He has been in so many things. He was in Willow.
He was in a ton of things.
Yeah, Billy Barty, the little guy. He was also in Masters of the Universe. Yeah, he was Gwildor.
We won't hold that against him.
Yeah, good journey, Gwildor.
Yeah, he has passed.
Now
Wait a minute. So that's the big guys?
Yeah, I think so.
Tim Curry?
Well, yeah, of course.
Get the fuck out of here,
yeah,
dude.
I know. Why didn't I mention Tim Curry? Tim Curry originally didn't want to do it because of the makeup.
Right.
And even after the first couple of days, he was like, this sucks. Then he saw himself in a mirror and was like, all right.
Yeah, it sounds like it was pretty... Other than Tom Cruise and Mia Sara, those were the only two people that didn't have to wear like this makeup, like heavy duty makeup for like 60 days.
Yeah.
You
5
know?
hours worth of makeup.
Yep.
That
For the
was
devil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy
devil?
part.
For the devil?
That's the crazy part because Rob Bottin, of course, we know what a genius Rob Bottin is from The Thing.
Right.
In this movie, and he actually got to portray a devil-like character. Nobody else had really nailed it, like he said. He's like, nobody else really kind of put it out there the way I did.
Well,
and he did nail it.
And Ridley Scott really wanted to work with him on Blade Runner.
Ooh.
And he was tied up doing The Thing, thank God,
Yeah.
because I would not want to see anybody else do The Thing. I think he did such a great job. But yeah, so it was like destined to be. You know what I mean? They knew they wanted to work on a project together.
His makeup effects in this movie, the goblins, the fucking everybody was perfect. It just... Rob Bottin had a touch at that time period that was unrivaled. I wonder what he would have done, of course, after he kept going, you know, because he did retire pretty much. So he's not really doing anything when it comes to that. And it was shortly... Nah, I'd say in the 90s, didn't he retire? Something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Somewhere around there. But, I mean, literally, it's just like... I mean, it's amazing to see what he did with these characters to create this entirely new world. Now, when Tim Curry's running a couple of times, you could tell, but the horns were fiberglass at first with reinforcements on the back of the head. How could anybody perform in that? You couldn't. That head was made for those horns.
Right.
I mean, literally, his eyeballs were coming out of horns. It's crazy.
Is that real?
No.
Oh, I was like, what?
No,
How does that work?
Yeah, when you look at it, it's just unusual, but it's so fucking striking.
Yeah.
It is so great the way he made that.
The first split second that I saw it, coming into this movie new, as usual with most of these, but coming into this movie new, I saw the devil in the very first scene, and I was like, and I was a little taken back and confused. I was like, is that really going to be that?
So
like,
you're talking about when it comes in and it's like the dark dark and it's like glow.
Yeah, and it's glowing.
And yes, absolutely. I could see where you would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because it's more of like he's in a black light room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Well,
as
see-
it progresses, it becomes like, oh my God, he's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, he does it so well. And like, when he's, either way, we'll get into that
And
too.
that was
but-
only in the American version, right?
Yes. Now,
Yeah,
now we
the
can
glow stuff, you know, colors.
Yeah, we can kind of talk about that right now before we get into the movie, because there are two distinct different versions of this.
Real quick, before we jump off the cast, I did want to mention, because there's somebody who had like so you guys are familiar with the character Gump,
Yep.
right? That guy didn't really go on to do anything, and neither did this girl.
Yeah, he did. Forrest Gump, that was huge.
That's a big deal.
He kept running.
The guy the person that played Blix was Alice Payton.
Yeah.
She also did the voice
Of Gump. You know who else? Robert
Because
Picardo was in this too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they thought his voice was too German. The guy that was actually playing Gump.
Huh.
So I thought that was interesting that not only did she do her own acting for her role, she did the voice acting for a
Something
male
else,
character. A male, be it a male sprite
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
he was, you know.
They did really good with that, though.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
When I was growing up watching that movie, oh my God, Gump's voice was like, it was weird.
Yeah.
You would see him, and especially when he was jumping around and shit like that, you're like, God, that's creepy. But yeah, and I only found out that it was that. But Robert Picardo, Robert Picardo, he is the holodeck guy, right? From Deep Space, Voyager or some shit like that, right?
Space Nine.
Yeah, something like that. Well, he was on Voyager.
The
he
new
was
Deep Space Voyager 9's. Yeah.
Generations.
Generation.
So he was a comical character in that, but he was the witch in the island, or the demon in the island,
Like the sea hag witch thing
in the swamp.
Swamp
That
hag,
was him. Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't know that. I never knew that, because that was one of the scariest fucking characters I've ever seen in my life too.
Yeah.
Back in the day. It's weird.
Karan Shah, who played Blunder, he also was in a ton of the, or I guess in all of the new Star Wars movies, played different characters throughout that, which was kind of interesting.
Cork Hubert was the other little person
Yes.
who was in it, and he's done a lot of stuff. I think those characters were actually pretty cool. There were so many of them, but they picked really cool personalities with that. You know, Billy Barty, of course, can do no wrong in those movies. I think he was one of the original dwarves in Wizard of Oz.
Who was?
Billy Barty.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He was in Wizard of Oz, so it's kind of crazy. He had a long career. But yeah. Do you want to get into the different versions of the movie?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. The different versions of the movie, like, I had watched some behind the scenes stuff first and read a little bit and heard about the international version, and I was hoping I would get to see it because of the way they described it versus the American version. Ridley Scott did a test screening, supposedly, and most of the people that were in there were high, and they were kind of snickering and laughing, and so he savagely cut the movie down. Big time for the American release.
Let's start with his first cut. His initial cut was 150 minutes. The director's cut that you can find now, I believe, is 113 minutes. So he cut it down even more.
Yeah.
He's cut it down twice to make that, what he wants. And then, of course, he had the cut that was for the UK release, which Ridley Scott's even said that, I don't remember how he put it. He basically said that British folks were more sophisticated in their movie watching and their storytelling. And then they made a U.S. version. There are pieces in each one that aren't in the other one. Like there's a whole riddle with Gump.
Yeah.
When he uncovers about the unicorn, what happened.
Yeah.
And there's just some different scenes in each one. Like there's
The
opening is the one that gets me the most, that you don't get the butcher's table.
Yeah.
Except for in the U.S. one.
I like that because of the reveal of darkness at the end is way better.
Okay.
Because the way that darkness is revealed in the international version, he comes out of the mirror like he does, but that's the first time that you see him. You don't see him that entire hour and 15 minutes until that, and the last half of the movie, or the last quarter of the movie, is them being in darkness's lair. So the dramatic, coming in of him, meeting Mia Sarah and flipping flipping her out, you know what I mean?
Right.
Almost driving her crazy. That's the best part, because it starts off with Blix being summoned to his lair, and he's like,
you don't see him in that portion?
You only see his finger.
Okay.
And he's pointing at Blix, and he's telling Blix what to do. He's
and the next time they interact with the Death Angel thing.
And that's him. That's darkness,
right,
but it's covered.
Right.
And you don't see shit. Right? Then when he comes out of the mirror, it's way more dramatic. It's kind of comical because he comes with his mouth open. He's like, "Hi,
I'm Tim Curry.
Yeah. Hello." But it's more dramatic, so it actually has more impact, I think.
Okay.
The first one, of course, that was the one that we grew up with, and that was wicked as shit. You know, seeing the black light, the butcher's table. He's sitting in the kitchen. Why?
Right. And they got a lot of
plates
cut
in
out
that place.
some stuff that was unnecessary, I think, in the story. Like, there's a lot more of Jack swimming. The only piece that I really felt like that was cut out of the international version that I would have liked to seen was the riddle portion from Gump.
That was pretty cool.
That interaction.
Yeah.
But when we get to going through the story a little bit, we will talk about the endings for the director's one being different specifically.
Also, the fight with the sea person, or whatever, that was different because he actually had to outsmart him,
right,
in a way by making him,
giving him, it was like
it was a vanity thing,
giving him compliments,
and he was like, "Oh, let me look," and then he does like trick him and cuts his head off, as we all know.
Right,
it wasn't so fast,
right.
But what's lost in the international version compared to the American version was fast paced, and it was there. It was the adventure style. You go, and American audience can really take that in. And plus, like, Mia Sarah's character was like, you didn't know she was a princess.
Yeah, and she wasn't all singing all the time either.
Correct.
Like she was in the international version.
It's kind of weird, but it's cool. It adds a little bit more to it.
That's why for this, I chose to watch the version I grew up with as a kid.
Yeah.
Though and there's a reason that I don't like the director's version, and it's only the end part, and so that's why I chose this American version.
Yeah. I really did enjoy it.
Trying to watch a dark Disney movie.
No, yeah. But yeah, it's what I think is lost in the international. It's so long, and Tom Cruise doesn't have the dialogue. He doesn't need it in the 90-minute one.
Right.
You know, he needs his character needs to be fleshed out a little bit more, and which is lost.
Right.
And Tom Cruise made a conscious decision not to talk a lot into it, you know, just because he thought that's what the character needed.
Hey, he's been living in the woods.
Correct. So it makes sense. But then in the long run, the world building really wasn't there. You had just good evil.
I think, I was going to say,
really
I think the really good world building was the goblins.
Yeah.
That was the part, where you're like, oh, there's more to this,
Yeah, there's it's kind of crazy that the unicorn was the light. But see, that's what he says inside the instead of having that prologue,
at the beginning.
Deal at the beginning, he's sitting there with Blix, and he's like, I feel a presence that won't go away. I need you to destroy this presence so I can finally rule. That's basically what the whole introduction was, so you know what the story was.
So you didn't get that till partway through the American version.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yeah, and you don't understand why he's following Mia Sarah and all of them, the princess.
Yeah.
Blix is because he's just there, but the way that Darkness explains it, he's like, you got to find innocence.
Yeah.
Innocence will lead you.
That's in the American version as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he kind of does have a lot more dialogue at the beginning instead of at the end, which I like. It no matter what. I mean, it was cool.
Right?
Yeah, I like longer versions of movies because to me, it's more about the whole structure. There's some more foreshadowing in it and things like that.
Yeah.
But then also the most important part that was different from the international version versus the American version was the soundtrack.
Yeah,
because you had Tangerine Dream with the synthesizers and everything, kind of updating all of everything like everybody had been doing,
right?
Instead of the classical score, which the classical score I thought was fantastic. It fits with the movie.
Yeah, and I read somewhere that they threw in something from the soundtrack from Planet of the Apes in the American version as well.
Maybe.
And something from Creatures of the Deep, maybe? Some other movie.
There's a couple of other throwback references, not in the soundtrack, but in the set design and stuff, which are pretty cool. But the synthesizer one is just as I would say just as good, but it was Jerry Goldsmith.
Right.
Jerry Goldsmith is tremendous in the soundtrack world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at that time, at almost
A lot
the
of
height
Carpenter
of his,
collaborations.
Yeah,
there.
at the height of his career, and they're like, "Nah, we don't want your shit," you know. So they kept it, and that's where the international again. So you have two different audiences that they actually played to, and it didn't take off like it should have. But at the same time, it's all still there. You know, so you can actually choose which one you want.
Well, people obviously looked at that for reference because of the actors that came out of that movie. You know, Tom Cruise, if that was this awful
Early
movie,
you
know, it was just undiscovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something that as kids you saw it and you saw the cover art and you're like,
I actually
"Damn."
saw this movie in the theater when I was real small.
Nice.
Or young.
Real small.
Yeah, real small.
I was real little.
I was real little. I was a real little guy watching moment there.
Oh, Mama took me to the movies and it was real cool.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. Obviously, it was like fantasy style, you know. So, yeah.
You know, in the early 80s, that fantasy style was really kind of taken off. You had Star Wars and you had everything. But in the 70s was the real big fantasy kind of uprising.
Yeah.
80s, it was tapering off until you get to really like the 90s, and then
I don't know.
you
I
got
mean,
more comic booky stuff.
In the 80s,
It's
you
all
got
jumbled.
you got Willow.
Yeah.
You know, you had Conan.
Yep.
They weren't unheard of.
Yeah,
No,
I think there was still a good little group there, though.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of
Maybe like a dropped culture.
Excalibur.
following?
Oh yeah.
You
Those
know?
movies like that with
Yeah,
the
those
with
are
the
80s, you
lens
know?
flares and shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Kroll
Yeah.
and shit. But all right, now we can get into the actual movie itself. Again, I mean, you if you start with the American version, you really get to see how wicked he was. You know, darkness.
Right.
So but the blacklight stuff was fucking awesome.
It
You
was
know,
a
looks
weird
cool.
intro though.
Yeah.
It was like you're like, oh,
When you're not knowing what's going to come,
Right.
you're like going, what?
Well, they add the prologue to it to kind of give you a little bit of backstory. So that kind of automatic. You know when a movie kind of changes things up in the middle of it and they add a prologue and you're like, oh, now I get it.
Right.
Like Dune, right? Dune did the same thing.
Didn't
Dune,
Star Wars do that?
Star
Oh,
Wars.
every Star
yeah.
Wars does.
Yeah, no joke.
Okay.
Well, and
We
like,
don't have time. Here you go.
yeah,
Right.
Dune did it too, where there's an extended cut of Dune that has like a 20-minute scene instead of the woman talking.
I don't know. I've never seen Dune, dude.
You never have?
We've had this discussion.
Oh.
I'm waiting for the show to or the new movie to come out.
Oh yeah.
And you told me not to watch the other one. You said
Unbiased.
don't worry about that. Watch the
Well,
new
there's the extended cut one, right? And it has like a whole long prologue where they talk about the way that society has gone. So you learn about where they're at.
one. Right.
You can always tell that in movies. Whenever they need that part of it, some people are there and some people aren't.
Sure.
My wife kept making fun of it last night. She was like, "So are we watching the Never-Ending Story?"
Dude, I was going to say that. I was waiting to actually say that,
Yeah.
but I was going to say there's many things in this that brought me to Never Ending Story, and I was like, the art, the backdrops, how it was laid out. But
Yeah.
to go on, yes.
Yeah, no, I kept going, no, it's not. She's like, but it really looks like it.
It really
I'm like,
does.
I get it, but it's not.
That's that time frame. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Makes
wouldn't
sense.
say it's like cookie
Yeah.
cutter, it's the style.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. The whole adventure style, because that's what it was. It was an adventure movie.
Yeah.
The reluctant hero. You know, you have your comedy elements. You have everything that could make a damsel in distress.
Right.
The darkness. You know, you have everything that you really need.
It was definitely patterned off a fairy tale.
Yep.
You know?
100%.
Yeah.
It made for a pretty bitchin' movie once you
Absolutely.
kind of get through it. There's so many like cool parts. Of course, you know, Gump is weird. What the fuck is that dude? Is he what is
He's
he?
like a wood sprite or something.
yeah. And then you got the fairy.
Right.
You know, she needs to comb her hair. Jesus Christ.
She's fairy. What'd she give a fuck?
Yeah, she comes. She gets.
Like, they
full,
always see her as like a little mosquito firefly, anyways.
She comes full regalia, and her hair's all fucked up. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of Aquanet.
Right.
She's been flying a lot, but yeah, where do you want to start with the actual movie itself?
Maybe the beginning.
Yeah.
What?
The beginning.
Let's Tarantino this motherfucker. Let's go from the
Let's
middle.
go back to the back.
Give me a middle, an end piece, and the beginning, and then more of the end piece. Done.
Done.
Let's just really throw it off and start with a different movie's beginning.
Yes.
So
Eventually get here.
yeah.
So we come up on when we first start, we come up on a teepee, and inside there we see Charlie Sheen with bunny slippers on.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
has an energy drink called Tiger's Blood. I don't know.
That's the beginning of Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah. True that.
Or maybe just Hot Shots, I don't remember.
Well, Hot Shots Part 2.
I always said part deux.
Dwa. Well,
Anyways.
yeah, you get into that they're looking for these unicorns, but you don't really. I mean, she's just wondering, and she's playing pranks and shit. And
She goes and visits
biscuits and
Nell
shit. Yeah.
at the place, right? And steals a biscuit, and then she says, take another one. And
Yeah.
she's fucking around. But then in the American version, this is where it's a little bit different, too. You get that vision when she's watching the clock, and everything turns to snow and ice, and it freezes. Mm-hmm. In the American version, that's not in the international version.
It is.
Oh, I thought it was not.
No, it's in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought
the
that was
foreshadowing. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a piece they pulled out. Oh, anyways.
Yeah.
See what I know.
Yeah. You should have watched it.
I was busy watching the America.
Because America.
Because America.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I was curious too because she's going through. Tom Cruise gets introduced by scaring her, and all that kind of stuff. But when you can see the devil. We already kind of talked about the devil and like how is he the devil or is he Satan?
He is not. He is
The
he's
dark
referred
one.
to
He's
as
darkness.
the darkness. Yeah.
Darkness.
I guess his dad was the devil.
Yeah,
he's
because
like
he talks to his dad.
Yeah.
He does,
so-
yeah. So I'll say darkness, but darkness is like, hey, there's something here. Is your heart black? And all that. But he goes through and then he's saying there's a presence, right? And then I'm guessing that's the unicorns or
Yeah.
the
Yes,
innocent. Okay,
that's the
yeah.
unicorn.
Because the unicorns represent the light.
The innocence is the bait.
So I didn't know if he was picking up on the innocence, now he can get it, or if he was like saying, I can sense the unicorns are close, let's go get them.
Right.
But either way, for being... Okay, so unicorns are said to be this mythical, high-end, like, there is nothing more magical than they are. There's nothing more powerful than they are.
There isn't.
But then, like, what the fuck? Have some sense of awareness. It's like,
Yeah, no shit, right?
Well, that's what that was the deal. Like that's why it was her sin. Like she.
It's almost like the Garden of Good and Evil.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's almost like that just because that's the forbidden thing. So they're almost kind of seen as Adam and Eve in a way.
the road to hell is paved with good intention kind of thing.
Correct. But he doesn't
I
just
met
reach
no wrong.
Yeah, he doesn't reach out whenever they go see him and like grab her and be like, bitch, sit down.
Right.
He
Don't let
doesn't.
me tell you again, woman.
It's like walking up to the queen and being like, sup?
Now take off your shoes and get in the kitchen.
He's like, yeah. Where's my sandwich?
That's what the queen said to the lady. No, it's
Clean this shit up and make me some tacos.
God damn.
Anyways, let's get back to this movie. This is the biggest digression of a movie ever.
Well, yeah.
Which is fine.
I mean, we can kind of go through there. Jack sees her. They all kind of hang out. He does a flip and shit. And he's always crouching in this movie, too.
Mm-hmm.
Usually he's running.
Right.
But in this one, he doesn't run at all. He just kind of crouches. He's like a little frog kind of a dude. I don't know what the fuck it is.
He's in the woods. He lives
Yeah.
in the woods.
I think they said, like, look at
squatting.
George of the Jungle and go with that.
Yeah, like squat a lot.
Yeah.
Like you're
Squat
always
everywhere.
like you don't know when you're gonna shit, so you're always squat.
No, Tom, stop pounding your chest. That's too far.
He's always got a wee turtle head poking out, so he's ready in squat position.
But you see them get together. Are they lovers?
That's my secret. I've
Yeah.
always got to shit.
Only healthy.
Because he eats a lot
They
of.
call me
twigs and
Fiber
berries.
Man.
He eats a lot of
Fiber
twigs
Man.
and berries.
Right.
So yeah, they go to that, and then he's like, "I'm gonna finally take you." I guess he's already been telling her about it.
Something, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
there's something special to show you, and he doesn't, pull down his underwear. He's like, "Ta-da!"
That was like 2 minutes before that part.
Yeah.
Well, and he mentions too that like they won't be here for long, right?
Yeah.
So they're always traveling, right?
Yeah. So they're actually in their neck of the woods, and that's
Right.
why darkness. That's weird too. It's like, is there a kingdom or something, or is this a little town that's really close to the
Just go to
darkness's
this
lair?
cave, yeah.
Just move. Shit.
It worked out.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't that far. They didn't have to walk that far. But yeah, they finally meet him. Yeah, in the international version, she sings, but in the other one, she just walks up, and the horse freaks out. Horse is aware.
Horse is aware of her presence and then goes up to her.
Well,
Yeah,
but I think that was the idea, is that because of her doing that,
Innocence, yeah.
right, her innocence, it was attracted to her, but because of her
Lack of awareness as well.
well, not even lack of awareness, but her almost not vanity, but whatever. That's not the word I'm looking for.
I get you.
That caused him to not come back, not be aware, because he was focused on that, and that's when we get Blix shooting the poison dart.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, it looked disgusting whenever he
It
opened.
looked like a booger.
Yeah.
It was like
booger.
Yeah, it was like his booger catcher. You know what I mean? He's like picks his nose and puts it in a little bitty deal. Like, just mix some of this in.
And
He'll
I
have
think I
sinus
said that
problems for
wrong
years.
earlier. It was Una the fairy who did the voice of Gump. If I had said
Was
that
it?
wrong, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Yeah, I think I said Blix earlier, but it's actually
I don't
the
know.
other.
I don't know.
I'll
It
have to
might have
look
been
that up
Blix. Yeah,
again.
yeah. It was. That they chase
I
the.
wanted to date the fairy as a little kid. I'm just throwing that. out
Really?
there. Yeah.
Even
I
with the
thought she
fucked
was
up hair?
Cool. Yeah. Whatever, man. She had fucking. She had glitter all over. Of course I would.
She had a lot of glitter.
Fucking 8, dude.
Now, please welcome Fairyland to the stage.
That's right. If you didn't know, I mean, that's
She's like, I like unicorns.
it's
and
latent in
clear
your head that
heels.
you want to go to strip clubs as a young man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess you know.
Well,
He kinda
I'm not going to
portrayed it
lie.
that.
You guys are on the right track, though, because if all the fairies are sparkly,
Yeah.
well, I mean, strip clubs have a lot of fairies.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of magic.
You are correct. There is a lot of magic there.
A lot of magic that happens. There's physical magic. There is magic that makes your money disappear.
Yeah, there's physical boom boom stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff happening.
But yeah, they go chase down the fucking they go chase down the unicorns, right? Because they're on horses, you know.
Yeah.
And they don't hear them the whole time. I thought Jack was like in tune with fucking
Yeah,
nature and shit
yeah.
like that because he's teaching her how to speak to nature, you
Right.
know. But he can't tell that there's some smelly ass booger picking goblins 2 feet away. You know what I mean? He doesn't see that coming.
He's not my George of the Jungle.
Yeah. So then they actually chop the horn off while she's showing him the ring. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, go find this.
And then
you know.
throws it in the water.
Yeah, he's like, all right, cool.
And what's cool is he actually did he didn't do the initial dive. That was actually a stuntman. And the reason they did that is they used somebody even smaller to make it look bigger, which is weird because Tom Cruise is not a very big dude anyway.
He's
so,
4'5".
yeah.
Small cliff.
But he did all his own swimming scenes, and I guess Ridley Scott said like all the props to him because like 25 feet away were just alligators. Because they did it down in Florida. I don't remember what town for the clarity, the purity of the water.
Oh, that's cool.
That's whoa.
But he's always been a guy who's done his own stunts. That's always been his kind of a deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Now he hangs from helicopters.
Yeah.
I'd almost feel
Yeah.
safer doing that than being 25 feet from an alligator.
I don't know.
In the water?
They're good.
Yeah. Like, wow.
You just
Wowza.
Wowza.
Tom Cruise has got some balls.
I don't know if I could take my acting to that level. That was terrible.
Pull some Nicolas Cage.
Better than
like,
me.
Whoa. No, that's
Not somebody else.
Nicolas Cage in Hoo-ah.
played by.
Yeah, she's got a great ass. No, so
The
yeah,
Al Pacino story with Nick Cage. Is that
yeah,
what we're doing?
Nick Cage
Nice.
playing Al Pacino.
I love it. I love it.
No, so yeah, what he goes down there to retrieve it, but by the time he gets up, it's ice.
Yeah, 'cause-
she's seeing everything change because the horn gets fucking knocked
So everything
off.
turns into like a eternal winter.
It's supposed to be darkness, but the sun is still shining because there is one more unicorn left.
But we don't really find out that reasoning till a little
Correct.
bit later.
Till a little bit later, because Blix is like, "Oh, look, I killed it," but he really didn't.
He didn't. Yeah. Well.
No.
He sedated.
Yeah, he kind of fucked him up. So
Yeah.
So next,
So Mia runs to the house that Nell was in. You know where she I always thought that was kind of a dick move. She like pulled like earlier. She had pulled the laundry thing and like just let it fall and then ran inside. And I was like, what a bitch.
Yeah, I know, huh?
Fucking entitled whore.
Yeah. She's like, ha, 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 I'm gonna go stare at your baby.
This isn't Ferris Bueller's Day Off, motherfucker.
Where did all the people go too?
I know,
They
right?
weren't frozen.
Except for Nell was there. She was like down, right? When she comes into the house, like kind of like frozen.
Well,
But
maybe,
in the international one, I think that when she first ran into Nell's house at the beginning, that her husband was sleeping in the thing, and that's not in the American version.
Yeah.
But so Nell was frozen inside there, I believe.
I have to watch it again.
Yeah.
but no, it's unusual that Blix and the other goblins kind of make their way to the exact house that she's at.
Well,
she's
maybe
in
that's the closest house.
Is it only
the
one
woods.
house? You saw other people.
I know. I don't know.
So
I
it
don't
was
know the
like,
story.
and he's like, ha, I'm gonna like fuck shit up.
And so
Look
she
at the
climbs
clock.
up in the attic, and he starts like making fire happen.
Yeah. He's farting out fire and shit.
Yeah, hits his buddy.
Yeah, well, it's kind of crazy because he's got to bring it back to darkness, but he doesn't. He's kind of reluctant because he is a goblin. And then
He's like, I got all the power now.
Yeah, it freaks that one goblin out too while he's drinking milk or some shit like that, and it's like, "Bah!" and the shit's all pouring out. That little character's actual costume was pretty awesome too. It was like a weird helmet.
Yeah, the one that we find out later is actually
part of
one of the elves.
Yeah, one of the elves. Yeah. He's just weird, and he's got a weird hoof hand. And
but I like where
too.
when he has the conversation with the pig guy. As all 80s movies like Swamp Thing, you have to have a pig guy. And he's like, what if you just made a mountain of slop? Wouldn't that be powerful?
Yeah, that's
what the
awesome.
fuck?
Go back to Waterworld, all right?
Well, even when that one dude gets captured, the one with the weird helmet,
Yeah.
the zombie jumps into the hole and he's like, adios, amigos.
There were a couple times where the verbiage in the movie actually took you out of the movie. That was one of them.
Yeah, that was
You're like,
one of
why are you talking like that?
Just look at the background, look at the visuals.
Well, along this same kind of time, that's when Jack meets with Gump
Right.
and the other elves.
He
and
tells them what happens when they ask. Depending on what version you watch.
Yeah, and they're all around the fire and everything like that, and Gump's dancing and falling down and acting
for
all
love.
fucking weird. Yeah,
And then they all have a drink together.
yeah, because is it Brown Tom
Yes.
that actually has the really nice liquor
Yes.
in his hat?
The elderberry.
Yeah, the elderberry wine or some shit.
Just pulls off the hat and there's this like weird looking bottle. that
Yeah,
you've
it's
never
fucking
sold.
badass.
Later
right?
I want that.
later on, he takes an arrow in his elderberry.
Yeah, because he's a badass too with the frying pan.
Yeah, he is.
You don't want to take him. It would be interesting to see a fight between him and Samwise Gamgee because they fight with pots and pans.
Yes.
All I'm going to say is the serving size of those drinks. I'm just glad I'm not paying.
No shit, right? Damn, that was like nothing. It was so good that they just have thimbles, and it's on Gump's fingers. But Jack has to go get, because they're like, well, we need a champion to take him on, and he's like, you'll do.
You'll do.
I'm like,
Put his finger in
I
his
don't
face.
even know war. I know the forest.
I don't know anything about weapons.
Yeah. Well, then he goes and he picks up the sword because the fairy leads him down that
Yeah,
little
and he's
pathway.
like, I can't go with you any further.
Yeah. He gets there and he's got
half expected David Bowie to like appear on the other side and be like, turn back before it's too late.
Yeah. Well, he pulls up into the cave and then there's Mad Mardigan's armor.
Yes.
And it's like, it's there. There's no pants. It's just a chainmail skirt, tunic.
Yes, as would be, I guess, at the time.
I guess.
Maybe you need some chainmail pants.
Yeah, it was weird. He has tights on a couple of times, which is weird. But where did the
choices,
the tights come from in that time period? So
It came from the forest.
yeah, he wove them.
He went to the
It was
he went to the tights tree.
Yeah, it was the hair of the fairy.
6 twigs, 17 leaves, and 7 elderberries.
Well,
That'll make you some tights in Minecraft.
Just go to your crafting tool.
Well, that's when, because they leave the Brown Tom dude with the other horse, and Mia Sarah shows up because after she escapes the house and everything like that, she shows up with the other unicorn, and all of a sudden Blix and the other dudes are there, right? So they start firing arrows, and Home Dude's like, pa-pow, pa-pow. He's like, watch this, cacao, cacao. And then he takes one to the head, and you think he's dead.
Right.
But he's not, because we know he's got a fucking, a moonshiner's hat on. He's got some moonshine in it. And by the time they go back with all of his armor and everything like that, he's passed out on the ground. Billy Barty comes up and they're like, hey, what happened? You were supposed to protect it. And he was like, oh, there was a woman. It was her.
There was hundreds of goblins.
Yeah, but it's two.
Yeah.
I fought him as best as me could. So then their quest is beginning. Right. They're really on the road to Darkness's place because they know where they're going because the other horse got captured. So that's when they end up in the swamp or the weird fucking bog or some shit. It's a wicked place there,
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you see things moving. This is the first time you get to see Pazuzu as well. Yeah. Pazuzu shows up more than once in this movie.
Bum, bum, bum.
Pazuzu, the statue from The Exorcist.
Yes.
So it's in there. There's all these other statues.
Kind of tells you how long Pazuzu's been around.
And the devil.
And the devil. Fucking devils.
And the coffin devil.
So
not today, Satan.
Yeah. What I liked about that international version of it was he did kind of have to outsmart him because that fucking thing pops out of the goddamn water like.
Yeah.
It's like the Jaws place in Universal Studios. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I gotta stop him. It's like a weird tour boat ride. That fucking thing is wicked looking. So greasy and KY jelly and like fucking weird facial features. And it's like, is it a man? Is it a woman? What the fuck is that thing? Does it have feet?
I mean, this movie, in multiple occasions, many, many times, has made you feel unsettled just because of the graphics that they do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's that effects work that was just like, whoa. Yeah. Oh, God. And there's alligators in there, too, isn't there? Something like that. I don't know. But then what he has to do is he has to basically outsmart the dude. So he starts, pandering to his vanity. And that's how he tricks him because he hasn't killed anybody yet. He hasn't used the fucking sword yet. So he does it. And whenever he chops off that fucking thing's head, it was like, whoa! It was fucking cool looking. It was just wacky. It was just all fucking flailing all over the place and green slime. But the unnerving part about that scene too is there's water constantly being like splashed up. It's like, where's it coming from? Right? Fucked up. So they find
that was almost Sam Raimi like with the blood, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Especially when the arms are going after the head and shit. And I was like,
where is it?
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. But then they actually get to the lair. Whenever they get down there, they fall into a trap. Of course, fucking.
They're in prisons.
Yeah, because Billy Barty always has that. Well, like, why am I going first? And Gump's like, go.
Well, that
bitch.
rock ledge, you're sitting there going like, I don't think any of you have a choice in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, why didn't they just step over it? They were all standing on it. Well, I don't
Either
know.
way.
But they ended up back in the cell, and that's when you find out that one goblin that was fighting Darkness kind of pulled out the wand after they were all kind of hanging out there with the rock monster. They were all having that. The goblin was like, we could remake the world in the goblin's image,
right?
It's all fucked up, and he's using it, and fucking home dude throws the fucking the whatever the unicorn horn. Yeah, he throws it away. He's like, I don't have it. So
and then he makes it come to him.
Yeah. Like force works and shit. Yeah. It's like, pew, got it. And then that home dude gets like thrown into hell, I guess, or wherever the fuck he goes.
It seems like you're supposed to kind of assume it's probably hell.
Yeah, that's where his lair is, I guess. It's
like the cusp of hell. Like there's a portal to hell there.
Yeah.
And it's like all the I think that's like the point, the nexus point, if you will, to hell.
Yeah.
And you have Demon Satan teenager And the actual Satan's sitting here going, I don't want to deal with you. You go watch The Portal.
Yeah. Yeah, you go stand there.
Dad, I need love advice. I really like this girl.
Portal! Why are you
Gotta
off your
win her
post?
over, a guy.
Dad, I just
an
don't
asshole.
understand. Why do you seem to hate me?
I've never felt love before. But yeah, you get into that layer, and it's weird too because they're in the fucking smokehouse and shit.
Yeah.
You know, with those big ass dudes. Like, this was before those guys in the butcher shop were fucking massive dudes.
Oh, big.
They were like bigger than wrestlers. You know, it was.
But
it was
again,
unusual.
they're right next to Tom Cruise, who, as you said, is like 4'7" or
Yeah,
whatever.
he's
It only
yeah.
accentuates the
He's
size.
4'5".
He is.
Yeah. And also, you know, the young kid and also the little people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So they were probably like your size, probably.
Yeah, they're 5'11".
Yeah.
But yeah, those dudes look fucked up too. Scary. That's when you can see them butchering some people in the background too.
Yep.
It's just creepy. It's like barbecue because they say barbecue. In
I know
shit
that there's
too.
another one
That
where
was
it
the
takes
other
you
one.
out of a
Barbecue.
I couldn't think of the other one, but that's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
That was the one that I was Who the fuck knows what barbecue is? That's Mexican.
kale chips?
And brought my potato salad.
Oh God, there comes the fruit cake.
Oh, it's a bad church picnic.
Not the person, the food.
Overcooked.
Yeesh.
But then, yeah, the one thing that I did notice about his whole kitchen area right there, he's got a lot of fucking plates.
Yeah,
He's got a lot of plates.
a lot of guests.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Really, it's weird.
Well, that's where they prepare the food.
Yeah.
You know?
Just a lot of plates. No
Well, I
dumb
mean,
waiters. No.
Peoples.
Yeah.
Any demon.
Soylent Green is made of people.
Well, whenever he has to get the fairy to tell her secret, and Gum's all pissed off. He's like, "Go help," you know. And then she does. She brings back the keys. And they finally get out, and then because they grab the one goblin dude that was a brother with home dude or whatnot, right? And they grab him first, and after they hide really badly. Yes. They're like, "Oh, help me. I can't move." And I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. But then they actually do get out, and they split up at that point too after they get out. They're like, "It's best if we go in teams. I'll go with you and you go with him."
Yeah. And then, well, like right away, isn't it Screwball that's like, I'll go with Jack.
Yeah.
And he's like, no.
No. Me and Jack will go. You, Brown Tom, and Screwball go together.
Right.
And they're like, shit, we're screwed. So yeah, that's when that's when the big reveal kind of happens too in the international version, is because Mia Sarah's character is going through all these deals because his father, I guess, the big giant, Audrey 2 looking flower thing,
Right.
with the glowing thing. What the fuck was that? Was that thing talking to him?
It was.
That was the voice of his father,
Correct.
Not necessarily his father,
Right.
Right. That's what I kind of figured.
Yeah.
So that's when you get the blacklight kind of weird shit too, and it's weird because he's like, "Oh, you need to woo her."
Yeah.
So she's still human and innocent. Woo her.
Innocent.
Yeah. And that's where you get that crazy dance scene with the
Yeah.
when she ends up in the, like that black, whatever that black dress thing is that's dancing with her, and then like they spin around and she's in the black dress.
Yeah. That's
How did they do
I thought that
that?
was cool though.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was cool.
Very, very well planned out. I mean, it was cool because she had been wandering the castle
Right.
or whatever for a while, and she gets there and she's like, "Ooh, warm fire," and then she turns into her shadow. I guess is that her
something
shadow
like that.
dancing?
No idea. Shadow dancing.
But what's crazy about Ridley Scott is he does have some dance parts in his movie. He has a lot of like really long, kind of airy.
Well,
Things,
I
you know?
thought that was choreographed pretty well because it started out like she was obviously resistant, and then she started dancing, and then it was like faster, and then
she's there.
yeah,
And then
now she's like the Dark Queen.
Yeah, she looks in the mirror and she's like, "Oh, hey, what?" And he's like, "Hey, what up, yo?" He comes out, he's like,
How you
doing? It's me, darkness.
You see him lean over, cough in his hand, like, You just smelling to make sure his breath is good.
Yeah, smelling his horn.
Smells like brimstone. Let's go.
Well, he's like 13 foot tall.
Right.
Whenever he comes out, you know, and he gets on top of her after she passes out. She's like, ah!
Right.
You know, I mean, if that was the first thing you saw when you woke up, holy shit. Like, I'm sorry, I don't like you.
Get away.
This is fucked up. So then, I mean, she's kind of wooed a little bit, you know, I guess.
Well, I think that she comes up with a plan.
Yeah,
you
but,
know,
but
like,
also, what was it up with the chair?
yeah, well, he asked a couple times for her to sit on the throne, and I think that that's like a way that he could have had some control over her had she done that.
Did you see the bubbling shit?
Yeah,
in it, too?
yeah.
The thing that she had the self-awareness to be like, no.
Yeah.
It's like she knew
I'll
something
just
would happen.
stand, thanks.
Yeah.
Like she's so
unusual.
innocent
Yeah.
to the point where she doesn't even know about like unicorns or anything, but then she's like hyper aware enough to be like, no, that's probably bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, the
Doesn't
chair's
seem like a good idea.
The chair's
Yeah.
bubbling on me, so I don't think I'm gonna sit down there. No, I'll stand. He's like, no, fuck you.
Dude,
Like
his
smash
anger
and stuff.
there, this is where you really, like, I got actually, like, not scared, but where I was
Sure.
like, ooh, that is scary, because he's like, raw,
Yeah.
everything's fine.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a great relationship. I'm just
No.
saying there's a lot of red flags that came up for me there when he started smashing stuff after
Yeah.
she said no.
Yeah, he's got his big giant hands and fingers, and he's like, no.
How can you have animosity before being in the relationship?
Yeah.
Exactly.
He does a lot of laughing and dialogue-y shit, which is cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for, you know, darkness, you know, he's got to have something, you know. He sits around all day and writes poetry. He's like, I can't wait to pull this one out.
He sits around and listens to Blix talk, who talks in poetry almost.
Yeah. He's like, I can do that too.
Damn you, Blix, and your great
Father.
writing of
Walks out.
poetry.
He's like, that sounds eerily like mine. No, it's different. I changed things.
I really always thought that, like, and I know it's like archetypical anyways, but I always thought that the devil from South Park was this.
Based off.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Big
I would
time.
see that.
Big time. Yeah.
I would
It
almost
was-
say Pick of Destiny, Tenacious D.
Yeah.
Almost same.
Yeah.
Well, this was the first time you really did see a very well-defined, personified devil
Yeah.
in any kind of movie. So a lot of people are influenced by that.
And when it
heavily.
talked, you couldn't tell where the prosthetics start and when
No.
it stopped.
Great. Yeah, that was great.
There's only one part that I saw where you could kind of tell, and it was underneath his eye.
Okay.
And it was just one split second of a kind of a deal to where you can almost tell that that's makeup. The rest of it, fucking fantastic.
Flawless.
You
Yeah.
cannot. It just looking at the way that those horns were thought out, like his neck muscles were thought out.
Yep.
Everything was thought out to have fucking 20-pound horns on your head.
I was about to say
You know?
proportionate, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
quite, but it seemed right.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
It was like I said, his head was made for the horns.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they made the horn. They're like, I want some fucking badass steer
He
horns.
better have some big ass horns.
He's
on
got
this
to
devil.
have a big face.
A big ass head.
Yeah. Well, which again, when he's running a couple of times, you see him be like, they're kind of flopping. So
Right. But either way.
yeah. But yeah, that's when they're kind of dropping eaves on the outside of the actual door, and Gump's like, hey, at least she's alive, so we need to worry about the fucking unicorn.
Right.
And he kind of wants to go bust in immediately right there. He's already got balls because he killed some, sea hag or some shit. So yeah, that's when they have to devise that plan of how they're going to get the sunlight in there. You know, which is unusual because they still know that it's still, as long as there's light, he can be stopped.
Right.
So that's their whole plan. They don't explicitly kind of say that, but you kind of have to guess,
Yeah, I think they lay it out pretty squarely for you.
And he's like, I got
This
an
movie
idea.
doesn't leave a lot, to conjecture.
Talking about this part specifically with their idea, there's a couple parts in here that did definitely take me out of the movie realm again.
Yeah.
One that we passed over was when they got to the room or whatever. No, we're not there yet. Never mind. So there's a couple coming up that
Yeah,
I'll mention.
yeah.
But yeah.
Fair.
Well, they go back to the butcher shop
Yeah.
because they run into Brown Tom and Screwball or whatnot. They're like,
Right.
because they're getting lost. They're like, I don't know where the fuck we are. I don't know what we just did for 20 minutes. Because like the Gump's time thing is like 3 strokes of a rabbit's tail and like fucking 3 rivets from a frog. What the fuck? And the bubbles are all going. It looks cool as fuck. Home dude's got got a regular watch. I guess Brown Tom, right?
Yeah.
He's got like an actual fucking watch, and Billy Barty's like, I don't have a watch. Well, no shit, Sherlock. This is fucking like medieval times. What the fuck?
I'm from the future.
Yeah. So they meet back up and they go to enact their plan because they got to figure out how to get light into the castle.
Right, and they're trying to figure out who's going to climb up that schism.
Well, what's crazy is that whole fight scene, all Jack does is jump, a couple of times. Yeah. But it's so funny the way that they're so fucking loud the whole time.
Yes.
And those
the part.
Yeah, and those dudes are like, fucking, they're out.
I mean, they're tossing these things across the room, and it's like King Kong, and you can hear it in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're hitting the ground even, and whatever else, but that doesn't wake them up.
Throwing them like frisbees, and the one time he actually takes more time to throw one of the plates, and he knocks too
far.
Knocks the dude down, and then
that happens to wake him up. I was like, what?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They're even standing there when they rescue his brother, right? And he's like, and the dude's like,
Exactly.
What?
Wait, rescue the brother?
Yeah, the one that was pretending to be the goblin.
Yeah, the dude inside the pie.
There we go. So that was the other part that took me out of it, because he had the apple in his mouth, and they're like, you gotta stay quiet because he's right beside. So they pull the apple out, and he's like, got it, I'll be super quiet. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
Don't
super
worry.
loud.
Yeah, and Gump's like, shut up, bitch.
Everyone just punched him in the mouth.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, Well, when they get into
isn't there a point there, real quick, where Jack grabs the knife because it's about to, like, the dude's about to wake up? I'm like, just fucking do it, dude.
That's what I thought
It's
too,
good, man. Just
I'm too innocent.
Yeah, he puts it. Yeah, he puts it back into the fucking other pie. He's like,
They'll never notice.
oh. And I would have. I mean, if you really wanted to be the hero, you would have just been like,
Yep.
like Walking Dead style, right in the back of the skull. I mean, they're big dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then they fight, and he spills the fucking Conan soup on him.
Yeah.
He spills Conan soup, and then the other dude. What happens?
He gets taken down by the little dudes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All of them are kind of attacking him, and he's fighting the one. And of course, Jack's only real move in any kind of fight, as we'll see through the rest of this movie, is just jumping.
Yeah, straight up,
and missing,
dodging.
missing.
They're
very
aiming
good
very
dodger.
low.
Yeah, I'm very good at dodging.
Yeah, they're swinging low.
I will jump off this table as many times as you need me to.
I can backflip it.
I do my own stunts.
Well, what amazed me too is how fast the actual barbecue pit got cold.
Yeah.
Because, it was like there's no more fire left, and they're like, let's go in there.
Yeah.
That shit would have been fucking hot if it was running 24/7. The bricks would have been hot, everything.
Have you ever gone against the cold of darkness?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I know.
It takes over anything.
It's crazy. So that's when Home Dude has to climb up it. He actually volunteers, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute. And they're like, go. So they got to figure that shit out, and because the Brown Tom and Home Dude Screwball did find where the other unicorn was.
Right.
That's what they actually did.
They accomplished.
Yeah. So whenever they did that, they lead them over there, and they see, because she says she wants. If she's going to join him, she wants to be the one that kills a unicorn.
Right.
So her plan's in place. So they have her, go.
And really, we shouldn't say that, because if you're not watching this for the first time, you may think that she flipped, like she is in his power.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Mitch, what did you think when you saw that? When she was like, I want to kill the unicorn, because she's kind of sounded a little evil there. Like she
did,
had
and you almost think she's actually going to, but in the back of my head, I'm going, that's not going to happen. She's going to do the right thing.
But
I didn't buy it, but
you didn't know she already had a plan in place right away, though.
I thought the second she said I would be willing to kill the unicorn, I thought it was all a ploy.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I thought it was.
I did too. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they take her to the Indiana Jones
I'd seen
set
it before, so I knew.
Well, when they're in Molaram's realm, they're like, hiya, 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 from Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
You remember they had that little split in between, and
Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom.
I'm seeing like a music like stand or a number or something where they're like hiya.
But no. They're leaning on their hands and knees, and they're like, Hiya.
Oh.
And they're going back and forth like that, right? So,
I saw top hats and canes.
but
hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
so she's about to throw the killing blow, right?
Right.
And it's all building up, and I guess he has other witches there, or warlocks,
there's
or
something
wizards,
there,
or
sure.
whatever the fuck they are.
Just take her out.
Yeah, and Gump's like, just do it. At first, he goes, follow your heart. He says, you know,
Right.
she's not bad. You follow your heart. And then, like, in 2 seconds, he's like, fuck that shit. Shoot her.
Yeah.
Never mind, she gonna do it.
Yeah, he really believed.
She looked convicted.
Yeah. and Jack's like, please don't do it. And then
He
knocks
says,
it.
I trust you.
Yeah, I trust you. So, yeah, he knows.
always trust
Yeah, I'll always trust you, princess.
Lily?
Yeah, Lily. Yeah. And so then he shoots fucking home dude in the back, doesn't he? With the
He
arrow?
shoots him in like the neck.
Yeah, right. Like in the fucking massive ass neck
Just
muscle.
standing there the entire rest of the movie too. Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. He gets shot like 7-8 times with arrows.
Yeah.
And he's
darkness,
still cool.
dude. He
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck. He's
You can't
not gonna pull
permeate
him
the
out.
darkness. Come on.
Yeah, when he lays down, it'll be a minor inconvenience on his pillow. You know,
I had one of those last night.
yeah. He's like, oh, it's too hot in here. Let me flip the fucking arrow.
That's what that thing was.
That it is. Yeah,
So,
but
she cuts the chain with the dagger of doom or whatever.
whatever that thing is,
Yeah.
it's
So
like a
she
big ass
swings.
sword.
It sparked.
Well, that whole fight scene was actually pretty good in a way.
So the fight, are we talking about the fight between Darkness and Jack now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he swings across, you know, and that's the
Jack
only
jumps.
time. And then Jack jumps and dives and ducks and dodges. It's like
And dips.
and dips and dodges.
Yeah. It hops.
Yeah,
He does hop a lot.
It's like a dodgeball shit.
Jack Hop a lot, in
Yeah.
fact, is his name.
Yeah. Well, then he gets that shield, and Darkness is like, you would think he would have eternity to be a good swordsman, or at least use fucking magic on the dude, right?
Right.
I mean, but he can't even force choke him.
Right.
So, you know, I mean,
What kind of darkness are you?
come on, fucking pussy ass.
I'm a darkness that believes in a fair fight.
Yeah, yeah, like he does. He wants to destroy him, right?
Yeah.
It's ego thing.
Yeah.
Whenever he runs at him and he pins him,
That was epic.
that was fucking pretty badass,
Dude, because he
Yeah.
runs at him like a dart and he's all of a sudden there. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that was good.
Yeah,
that was really good.
And I mean, it really is that good versus evil kind of a thing. And then home dude Screwball is asleep on the roof, and Gump tells her to go. It's time now.
And I think that we kind of skipped over Una's story a little bit, where she reveals to Jack earlier.
Yeah, a little bit,
That
yeah.
she's like full sized.
Yeah, she can actually grow.
And she wants to get his Jack boner.
She does.
She wants a part of that. So she leaves for a minute, and like they're like, "Look what you've done," now
Yeah.
we're stuck here. And then she comes back and saves them. This is earlier in the movie,
That's
but
that's
I
kind
feel
of
like that's
Peter
a-
Pan-ish.
yeah, it is a little Peter Pan-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
before Peter Pan, not the story, but from that movie.
Isn't it
where
weird
they
when you
made
say
that.
this was this reminds me of something that came after,
Well, and again, I don't know if that was part of the original Peter Pan, but it was more so in the movie that I think you're thinking of as Hook, right?
Yeah, Hook, She Grows.
Yeah.
Because Julia Roberts needs
Right.
airtime.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I
And
don't
you gotta
remember. I don't think I've
strap
ever read
Julia
the book.
Roberts' name to something,
And it
make
was not
money.
normal for her to grow. She only had a limited time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this one, she was just a fucking fairy.
She was just a sprite, and they didn't know, right?
Yeah.
That she was a sprite.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
idea.
What a twist.
Because
Twist.
sprites will fuck you up.
Anytime I say that and Brock's around, I'm going to look at you.
What an M. Night Shyamalan that they did there.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, but
So she goes up to wake him up.
Yeah, and that fucking chimney is tall as shit.
Yeah,
I mean, it's above the cloud line.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it had to be, I guess, because it was kind of dusk already. He said we're going to do it tonight.
But I mean, well, the snow has kind of covered everything in the darkness.
yeah.
And so they have to get above the clouds
Yeah.
to still see the sunlight. And it's a really ingenious thing that they think of, to have all of his fucking
Jack.
dinnerware. Yeah.
That was all Jack.
Yeah, have the dinnerware come down and pew, 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 and
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
cut corners and shit like that. It's like an ancient flashlight. you know?
Right.
I love how, the one goes to the very top and he gets and puts the last one and just says, passes out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, it's to fucking pass out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long way up, bro.
They'll probably make it.
Yeah.
I hope they do okay. I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah.
It's been a rough day.
I wonder if they strap that shit to his back.
Yeah, they don't
You
really
know?
ever show that, and I think that's for good reason. They're like, let's not get involved in the
Yeah,
physics of
yeah,
this little guy carrying this thing up as big as he is.
The point
his
is the
teeth?
light goes down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, but then that's when they finally do unleash it. You know, after Jack's fought a pretty good battle, really.
He's about to lose.
Yeah, they get into the actual fight scene with the swords and shit like that. And I like the sound effects. It's all ka-ching, ka-ching. It's like fucking really shitty metal. Yeah.
The light
Made
brought
noises.
a lot of force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially to him.
Well, not even just to him, but like to the whole
Yeah.
area. You know?
Oh
It's
my
like,
god.
What? It's light.
Yeah. The brother was standing right in front of it and he's like, boom. And it fucking
Blows
knocks
through
him
the
through
doors.
The door.
Yes. The fuck.
He's like, I can't get out.
That's and again, it'd been so long since I saw this movie. I'm like, when do they go back and open the doors? Because it didn't make any sense to me, right?
Right.
Because they had shut the door.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay.
They
And
all
then,
went
then
in,
it
but
comes
he didn't.
through and it blows the door open. I was like, oh,
So,
because light.
well,
Okay.
speaking
Light
of
is penetrating
fantasy,
that darkness. Yeah.
well, one of the biggest things about this fantasy movie that you have to go, this must be light from the fantasy world.
Yeah. Well,
Because you can literally track it.
yeah.
It's like you can literally watch the light coming out, and it took a while. It was like ping,
Yeah.
ping, 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 ping.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
strong.
Almost here.
It's just as strong as it was whenever it hits the first one.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Which
So
is
it's
crazy,
definitely
too.
not just regular light because that regular light
Instantaneous.
travels at the speed of light.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Get out.
No way.
So
Yeah.
it's like some sort of meta light.
Right.
Yeah. It was
But yeah.
fantasy light.
Yes.
And then he gets shot into space. Who would have thought space is on the other side of that?
I know, no shit, right?
Space is the
well,
devil.
I
Hell
mean,
is just the absence of light.
they kind of allude to
I
that.
saw stars.
Yeah. Because he's like
Damn
grabbing
it.
on the side and he's like, oh,
Because it's like 3 stars that shoot out, right?
6, I think.
6? Whatever.
Yeah, 5 or
I
6
thought it
stars
was, yeah,
after he gets
whatever.
to the apex of it. It's like,
Yeah.
pew, the more you know. Well, because he chops off his hand because he's still got the fucking
Unicorn.
the,
Unicorn
horn.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has to stop him at that point. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of fucked up too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he just doesn't reach over and grab the other side. He's kind of holding on. I got
He's
a
trying to
monologue
stop
to tell.
himself. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, I've got things that need to be said.
I have one more poem.
They paid me for more dialogue.
I need a whole paycheck.
Yeah. It is weird too because he like tumbles out just kind of like an alien.
Yeah.
The alien does
Yeah,
in Alien
absolutely.
the original. It's like pew. He
It's a firework.
Yeah, it's weird. And then, so the world is back to normal.
Yeah.
So Jack saved the day.
I'm
And
not
then-
gonna lie.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, they pretty much that they do that, and then they're like, and scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. No.
Movie's over.
Absolutely. But
We made it.
Lily's still fucked up.
Yep.
So
She's
he's
still
like,
passed
well,
out.
Gump tells him, like, you made a promise. So he goes and dives down and gets the ring. And this is where everything's a little different in the director's cut. It's almost like all of that was a dream.
Oh.
And I don't like that shit.
Oh yeah, it's like kind
I
of
don't
different
like that
day and shit.
I don't like that shit in
Did
a
it happen?
movie. Yeah. Well, did it happen? Was that just prophesied?
M. Night Shyamalan walks across the screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What a twist.
Yeah. Some dude in jeans is in the bag. Is like, what's up?
But yeah, so it's obviously the next day or
Yeah.
whatever, and he goes down and gets it and brings her out of it, and everybody lives forever.
La 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 la.
Oh,
Musical
fairy tale.
number not here.
Well, it's like Sleeping Beauty, but he places a ring on her finger, and she's like, "Oh, thank God."
Well,
Man,
and there's a point. And is it the director's cut where she gives it back to him,
I think so.
and then it's only Tom Cruise walking away because they said they'll meet up again later or
Yeah,
something.
she actually goes somewhere else
Because she thinks that she can't take him away from the woods. Like it's
He's part of
It's
the
selfish
spirit.
of her to do
yeah, he's
that,
like,
you
I've
know?
done all this shit for you, and I can't even get a handy J. What the fuck?
Straight- Come check out my woodies.
Yeah,
I was just used.
son of
I feel
a
so
bitch.
dirty.
Yeah, you used me. Yeah, no. So everybody's like, you get the yub nub ending on this one too. Is
Yub-nub.
yeah, everybody's happy and shit, and then it's done. It just does.
It has
just a fairy
weird
tale.
ending.
Yeah.
Because you're just like action, 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 end.
This is the
But that's how
always ending
fairy
story.
tales are,
Yeah.
A lot of them, yeah.
A lot of them, like you get the apex of the action, it's over, Here's what happened the next day. Done.
Don't talk to Lord of the Rings where they have a whole nother movie
Absolutely.
after it's already done.
The gentleman that I mentioned earlier,
They have 4 endings.
that played Blunder, that played Blunder, was also in The Hobbit. He was in a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I don't talk about those movies.
I know how much you love them. That's why I brought it up. I'm like, I can't wait to get you like the Hobbit movie fan T-shirt.
Biggest #1 fan of The Hobbit.
The Long Journey or whatever it is.
Yeah, the extra long,
The
setup
long
of
and winding
movies.
road.
The 60 frames per second journey.
As an overall, this movie is still pretty cool to this day.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching it.
It is. I think it is a very big piece of culture that a lot of people overlook, but at the same time, it wasn't fantastic.
I think the makeup
knew
and
it.
set design was really fucking good.
Cinematography, the directing style, but the dialogue was not there. And the world building was not there.
Yeah, and I gotta kind of blame Ridley Scott for that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say you had a difference of opinion. I was like, wow.
No,
yeah, I was
not
really
at all.
surprised.
But I mean, it just like that's the guy who should be fixing that is your director.
Yeah.
He kind
I
of has a
think
lot
he's-
to say.
And a lot of it would come down to the editing part of it as well.
Sure.
With the
And he did
narrative.
cut it back and pare it back. Whatever.
And I think he was afraid that it was going to be a failure, even though it only made 23.5 out of its $24 million budget.
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
I know. But now it has really become one of those cult classics.
Like a little piece of drop culture.
Yes. It's in all of our lexicons as far as like video store nerds, you know. It's there and it's always going to be there because Tim Curry is fucking fantastic in the movie. He makes the movie. I think his character
100%.
makes the movie there, you know, so it makes you enjoy it. And I think the least amount of screen time for him is always like a really cool deal because he really just pulls out that performance.
Yeah, he does.
I put this in the same vein as Pennywise
Yeah,
from The Stand from the 1990, I think was the miniseries.
yeah, the original one.
Is that
'cause
right? 1990?
I think it was 90 or 91.
Yeah,
something like
whatever.
that.
Doesn't matter.
I'm pretty sure you're right, because I know.
Yeah. No, but I mean, he's such a good character actor. Everything that he does, and especially around this time too, I mean, was just really great. I mean, he did fucking Rocky Horror in the early 70s.
Yeah.
And then around this time he did Clue, which was bitchin'.
Yeah.
He had this one. He's had one of my favorites, the Muppet Pirate movie, whatever that one was.
Oh, yeah, Treasure Island,
Muppet
right?
Treasure Island.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
He did he does a lot of voice stuff now. Video games, cartoons.
He's dead.
He plays. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But, well, I mean, up to this
He
point.
did, man.
Up to this point.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, but his voice is
later
very
on.
iconic. And,
Absolutely.
And his
He did, motherfucker.
He did, man.
Oh, thought I'd tell you, but
But overall, a great
We're talking
movie.
about Tim Curry?
Yeah,
Tim Curry's dead?
Yeah.
Sure about that?
yeah.
Can you find me something that shows me that?
He died like 2 or 3 years ago.
he was just over at my house, Brock.
I don't believe you.
Hey, at least you're honest.
Yeah.
No, I thought he was fucking dead, man. He's not.
I was like, no way, dude.
I
'Cause
thought
some
he
of the
was
stuff-
fucking dead,
Some of the
dude.
stuff I was thinking about was pretty recent, so.
I swear to God, I thought he died.
No. He is 74 years old. So I could see how you would think that.
How are you not dead? Anywho.
Well,
Well, lift my leg and call me Tex.
God damn, somebody needs to kick me in the balls. Fucking Tim Curry still alive? Shit.
Ooh, refresher.
What a hell of a man. I swear to God, it must have been somebody else that I was thinking of. Of course it was.
I'm a big fan of the Young Justice cartoon, and he was only in like 3 episodes, I think it was, but he played the voice of like this tabloidish newscaster who had his own show, G. Gordon Jeffrey or something like that.
G. Gordon Liddy.
No. But like right away, like when you hear his voice, you're like, that motherfucker, that's Tim Curry.
That's him.
You know what I mean?
He was Darth Sidious and Chancellor Palpatine
In the Clone Wars.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he's done a lot of voiceover shit, which makes sense when you're 74 years old, or if you're going to make some money, you can just do it from home.
I'd
or
do
from
that.
a studio, or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm sure
most
he's got
jobs
enough
now.
money to have both.
In these unprecedented
house.
times.
Presented. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, everybody forgot about the coronavirus.
Well, it sounds like it was a big part of your guys' movie, or your guys' childhood, or like growing up, you saw this movie, liked it.
I didn't see the coronavirus until like
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
I was this old when I found out about the coronavirus.
Yeah. No, you are correct though. I mean, it was a big part. Just because it was just such a cool movie.
A whimsical fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
With
a lot of
dark.
those movies. Because Never Ending Story came out about the same
Yep.
time too.
And that showed a
Labyrinth
dark...
would have been kind of right around there
Labyrinth.
too.
Oh my god, yeah.
So it's kind of and I'm not saying the same. I don't remember what year those are, but right in there.
Well, obviously the other two had better success. But
Labyrinth did.
Labyrinth did. Neverending Story wasn't that much of a commercial success, I don't believe.
No, they weren't really that big. They were more like the Never Ending Story reminds me of an after school special. You know, it really does. It looks like it has that kind of a budget.
Yeah.
Falcor, and he's like, "Hey, everybody!"
Well, and he's even run away from bullies at the beginning. You know,
Yeah.
that's almost a PSA of some sort. Yeah.
Like hide in a dumpster, stupid.
how did this guy not know how to get away from bullies?
He
He's
dumb.
like, "Leave me alone. I just want to learn."
I just want to fly.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
I take that back. It did pretty well in the box office. Neverending Story had a $60 million budget.
Jeez.
Whatever DMs are.
It was a Treyu.
US was 27 million budget in US dollars, but the US box office was 100 million.
Yeah,
So it did pretty good.
Yeah.
It necessitated a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and whatever they made.
2 wasn't that bad.
I watched 2. That's
because I got the 2-disc set.
yeah.
Printed on one side of each. So, yeah, no. Overall, great movie. If you haven't seen Legend, you need to watch it.
Yeah.
We would say so.
Yeah.
But then also at the same time, if you have seen it, you know why you're listening to this episode.
Yeah.
Because we love it. We're always trying to pick things like this kind of movie that we all loved or Mitch hasn't seen yet.
Usually it's cult classics that they loved and I've never seen, so
Yeah.
I'm being introduced to it.
Yeah,
So-
so it actually does make it
I'm going to
cool.
jump back to that conversation we were having. Labyrinth was actually the one that failed miserably. It had a budget of $25 million and made $12.9 million.
Curse you, David
This
Bowie.
doubled it.
Yeah.
Well, David Bowie's crotch should have made more money. If they would have top billed, they would have been like starring Jennifer Connelly, David Bowie, and David Bowie's crotch. They would have
Supporting
made a lot more
actor.
money. Yeah, best supporting actor.
Yeah.
Like who wins in that situation? Nobody. David Bowie wins
You just
Mark Ruffalo and Mark Ruffalo.
as David Bowie's crotch.
David Bowie's crotch did not win, but he gladly clapped for his nominations or the
Without
winner.
his hands. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Anywho, on that note,
Legend, check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Listen to all of our friends out there in podcast land.
buy our merch.
Yeah, buy
Just kidding.
merchandising.
You can if you want.
Rate, review us.
Yes.
Like us on whatever you want to like us on.
Yeah.
Most importantly, hit a subscribe button.
Yeah. Why not?
Honestly.
If you like it, listen.
Yeah, if you want to interact. You can hit us up, like you said, www.dropculture.com. You can hit us up at dropculturepodcast@gmail.com. I'm not talking about the socials. Figure it out.
Yeah, it's
You
there.
can figure it out. You're smart. We believe in you.
Drop Culture's the name.
Pop culture's our topic.
That was terrible.
It really was. That's going to be edited anyway.
Horrible
So,
He's like, that's not going to be in it.
yeah.
No.
And on that note, have a good night, everyone.
Peace. Hey, I want to put Time Bandits on that list.
Okay.